that I am delighted that Secretary Clinton, month after month after month, seems to be adopting more and more of the positions that we have advocated. That's good. And in fact, is beginning to use a lot of the language and phraseology that we have used. In fact, I think I saw a TV ad. I thought it was me, but it turned out it was Secretary Clinton's picture in the ad. But the people of Massachusetts and the people of the United States need to know the difference between hastily adopted campaign rhetoric and the real record and the long-held ideas of the candidates. And what the American people have got to determine is which candidate whose life work is about standing up to the billionaire class, standing up to Wall Street, standing up to corporate interests, and who does not.
After his press conference, Sanders traveled to UMass Amherst, where he drew a crowd of over 8,000 people. There he continued to attack Clinton over her super PAC money and Wall Street donations. Massachusetts is one of several states Sanders will have to do well in on Super Tuesday, when almost 900 pledged delegates are at stake. New polling shows him tied with Clinton there, but trailing her by wide margins in states like Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina, and Illinois.
It looks like an uphill slog for Bernie Sanders on
Definitely.
Super Tuesday, Mike.
Yeah, he's going to have a tough day, it would appear, on Super Tuesday. He'll do well where he was yesterday in Massachusetts. I mean, she's been around Massachusetts, very popular for years. And right now he's in a dead heat with her. Raised a lot of money. Odds favor Bernie Sanders in Massachusetts. Odds do not favor Bernie Sanders next Tuesday.
So, Nicole, what's it looking like, the race?
Well, I think right now we'd have to say it looks like Hillary Clinton will face Donald Trump. But, you know, I think the Democratic race is far more settled than the Republican race.
Do you really?
At least in their minds. Yeah, I mean, I think the superdelegate system makes it very difficult. I think she has almost all those locked up. Yeah. Makes it very, even when Bernie Sanders comes in close, they don't have quite the same way of apportioning delegates. And listen, the problem on the Republican side is that it isn't that close. So even if it's not like Rubio and Cruz are coming in right behind Trump, the way we apportion delegates, if they were, we'd have a slightly different delegate map moving forward. And they could be making the case that, well, we'll peel off parts of the state. In South Carolina, I don't think anybody got any delegates except Trump. So, you know, maybe it's more settled than it appears.
It's interesting that I think, you know, Bernie Sanders has been, at least Hillary Clinton has tried to pigeonhole him as a single-issue candidate. When you listen to his speeches and you listen to him talk to people one-on-one,
brutally unfair.
It's an issue that he takes on that then has many tiers, because that one issue actually affects everybody. African Americans, the imbalance in the criminal justice system.
It's an unfair indictment of his positions on race, because every speech he gives, and I watched one a long time ago on C-SPAN, has always been about lifting up all corners of society through economic opportunity. And I don't know if he uses the word redistributing the wealth. That's sometimes what Republicans hear. But his message has always been targeted at the most underprivileged communities in America, which in many instances are minority communities. So I think she successfully labeled him as not having a message on race, when his entire purpose of his candidacy was about lifting up all corners of America.
And actually what he talks about is a lot about what, you know, my father talked about almost 9 years ago when he first came on the show. He talked about morality of the system being stacked against most people, and the tiny percentage of people that are just luxuriating in wealth while others are slowly falling behind. He said it before it was cool to say it.
Yeah, he certainly did, and it certainly this year it's a message that obviously has found a massive audience. But there's no doubt, you look at all the statistics, Bernie Sanders' message is focused on the disaffected, on people that keep falling further and further behind. And as it is today, it has been for a very long time. In 2016, that is disproportionately black Americans. Even with the unemployment rate, when we had Eddie on before, we had an unemployment rate that came out, and it was like, what, 4.9? And yet it's nearly double in the black community. You start talking about younger black men especially, the numbers are staggeringly high. So Bernie Sanders' message, it seems to me, skews towards those most disaffected.
It does.
And military?
His message, his themes, which he has been consistently articulating for over 4 decades, eventually there is a merger of race and class.
Right.
In his message, and everyone out there, the rich and the poor and people living in the middle, know that it's a combination of race and class, and too many people in this country living at the edge, living paycheck to paycheck, daring not to dream beyond this weekend.
Yes,
right. And yet,
exactly.
And yet, all that's true. He was wiped out among African American voters in Nevada.
Yeah.
You could just saw where